But what I can tell you is that I'm excited about working on a project like this where we go from ideation to implementation in the shortest amount of time I've ever experienced in my life. And that is really because of the leadership of Vicki Harris of Community for Next Door. Many of you all were likely invited from. Yes, we can give a clap. As well as James Mashura over at Vanderbilt, who have been working with a wonderful team of folks to get this off the ground, really so that we can stop talking about North Nashville in this way that's like North Nashville used to be, North Nashville could be. No, North Nashville is, okay? And North Nashville is an asset. And that's really what we've been working on for the past year. And so now we're working into what does it look like if we co-design a future together. And so this is day one. Tomorrow we'll have another group. We'll do this same conversation with them, and then we'll move into some work in September. So that's just to give you a little bit of what's ahead. Very, very briefly, I would love to do an intro of who's in the room, just so that you know who your co-designers are. You may or may not be in a cohort together, but regardless if you go forward or not, the goal really is for you to also know each other. And for us to stop passing in the hallways and really start building together and continuing to build together. So with that, keep eating. I know you are. I'm trying to give you a moment to eat, so I'm talking a little bit. But I'll start down here with you, and we'll come around, and then we'll grab the folks in the back. Name and your organization, and maybe just one beautiful thing about North Nashville that you know, okay? That's pressure, but no pressure, all right? So I'll go here.
I'm Caroline. I'm here on behalf of Amy Quasi from Second Harvest School. So I'm really just here to take some notes and listen in.
Very good. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Anton Jackson. I'm with Rebuilding Together Nashville. One thing about North Nashville, I think about my grandmother's house, burned down a few years ago, about 3 years ago, just rebuilt it, and how important home ownership and preservation, wealth retention is to maintain it.
Yes, very good. Thank you for bringing that in the room.
Hey everybody, my name is Benai Societies. I'm with Black Men's Health Village. And one thing about North Nashville, Saturday we just had a family fun day with one of our partners, Manning Circle. And so we just saw the community coming out, just so much joy. And so that's really what I want to focus on is the joy of the community. So I'll go with that.
Testing. I'm going to bring you all the mic. Because we've got some folks virtually as well. Okay, so I want to make sure the virtual folks can hear us.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura and I'm from Inspiritus. And one thing I love about North Nashville is the volunteerism, because we couldn't run our food pantry without our wonderful volunteers.
Good morning, Marvin Cox, Metropolitan Action Commission. I would say the history of North Nashville is what I appreciate.
Daryl Hill with Metro Nashville Housing Division. I'm going to piggyback off of Marvin. My family's been here for a while, so I love the family and the tradition.
Good morning, I'm Esther Mandigo Kitenge, and my organization is Elimu Empowerment. What do I know more about North Nashville? Not so much, but it's the family and the community orientation that I see.
My name is Joyce George. I'm here representing Claudia Humphrey Henry. I'm with the Haynes Manor Neighborhood Association and the Haynes District 2 Scholarship. I'm here to take notes, but I was raised in North Nashville, and I like the feeling of community, of knowing your neighbors, working with your neighbors, protecting your neighbors, and looking after them. So I love North Nashville.
Very good.
Hello everyone, I am Carly Frazier. I'm here with Vanderbilt Medical Center from the Office of Community Health and Engagement. And my first introduction to North Nashville was Fisk University, and so what I love most about North Nashville is the history. As most Fiskites, that was my intro.
Hi, my name is Natalie Montalvo, and I am a resident of North Nashville for 43 years. I attended Tennessee State University. I worked at McHenry Medical College for 20 years, and I'm very active in our community meetings, the District 2 meetings, as well as District 1, because I think they intertwine. So what happens in one affects the other. So I attend both of them. And North Nashville is beautiful. I can't think of anywhere else that I would feel more comfortable than North Nashville. So it runs through my veins. And so I'm proud of North Nashville.
All right, well, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Nicole Rowan, and I'm a community advocate for North Nashville and happy to serve on the Board of Stewards for North Nashville. Have served in executive level roles in nonprofits in the North Nashville area and serve on some boards in North Nashville. So the thing that I love about North Nashville is the community resilience and their self-empowerment. I appreciate that about North Nashville.
Hello, I'm Beverly Patnack. I'm a consultant in this project. The thing that has impressed me about North Nashville, besides the fact that Fisk has this wonderful art gallery with Georgia O'Keeffe and Ansel Adams, I'm just amazed every time I go there how wonderful that and how what a treasure it is to have her work here. But the thing that I guess impresses me most is how the legacy is continuing to flow throughout the community, and building on history, I think, is what we do best.
So I'm Vicki Harris. I didn't have the privilege of growing up in my name is Vicki Harris. I didn't have the privilege of growing up in North Nashville, but what North Nashvilleians don't realize is that their reach goes way beyond these 3 zip codes. I grew up in rural Tennessee, down near the Alabama line, and trust me, coming to Nashville, to North Nashville, was the equivalent of going to Harlem when I was growing up. So what I do love about North Nashville, piggybacking on some of what you all have said, and it also brings me to this work, is that it's the history and culture which we don't want to lose. It is the resilience which we can continue to build on. And a recent a trip to the Nashville Public Library downtown last year brought it all home for me. Martin Luther King said, I didn't come to Nashville to be inspired, to inspire. I came to be inspired, because what was happening in Nashville was innovative. It was pushing the envelope. And that's what I believe that we can do in this next phase of work as we go forward.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. Let's get moving.
Thank you. Okay, my name is Kosuke Magut, and 2 things about North Nashville. Number 1, North Nashville is home for me now. And then number 2, the thing that I noticed about North Nashville is even though majority of Nashville has been super gentrified, you can still find a lot of people that have lived here for multiple generations, and that's something that I really truly love being able to go outside my door and talk to people and understand all the history about North Nashville and the schools that they went in here. So that's amazing.
Thank you so much for those introductions. Now you know who you're sitting among as we continue to build this conversation with each other. To frame North Nashville even more, I'm going to ask Daryl Hill and Carly Frazier to come up and read Legacy Blooms, which is a land and spirit acknowledgement of North Nashville.
Legacy Bloom in North Nashville Land and Labor Acknowledgement. In North Nashville and Bordeaux, where roots intertwine, The wind clocks back and forward to acknowledge the why and how now. Echoes of ancestral dreams and define. Finding ripples of Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, Watuga memory. Their hand sculptures from futures from Davidson County dirt and sweat. Weatherized imaging from English colonizers, French trappers, German settlers. Forging communities we cannot forget. Get the picture. A melanated trail from Africa to American servitude to reconstructed stretches of the city and liberated black hands and imagination.
We acknowledge this land, the labor, the ideas, the movements, still in motion. Jefferson Street, once thrumming with life, lived on limestone bedrock. Laughter and song woven through storefronts and homes. Once home to elk, bison, black bear, now holding. Black hand-built dreams, each brick a testament. Meant centuries ago for corn, cotton, wheat, tobacco, now growing minds to resilience in the face of redlining's cruel grin.
The Interstate Highway Act was an act of war for us, using eminent domain for intentional demise. The story casts a progress for some as just plain pain and painted over attempted to drown a thriving people, a thriving place. I-40 roars try to silence our ever vibrant heartbeat. Beat down but not out, from Washington High to Hadley, from Salt Lick to Sulphurdale. Neighborhoods raised, made to wonder if this is a place where children can be raised. Brazen power underestimating revival, dreams displaced and deferred, but not fully deterred. Love and sacrifice held our roots firm.
We acknowledge grandmother's gardens, father's barbershops, Dorothy's, Miles, Shampoo Perry, Miss Lydia. Each plot of land is a story, a sacrifice. Elks, Eds, LeBeau, beat down but not out, from Washington Junior High to Hadley, from Salt Lick to Sulphurdale, neighborhoods raised, made to wonder if this is a place where children can still be raised.
And we acknowledge
sorry.
Visionary makers, crafters, unity from Chaos Wrigley to Douglas to Wilkerson's, youth played beneath canopies of hope, Watkins Park, the Ag, Rock City, Bordeaux Fields, rich with untold stories, Enchanted Hills, the YMCA, the Duncans, the land that nurtured dreams, community breeze, Cozy Corner, McKissick and McKissick, Ted Rose, generations of hands, tending and building.
Akabulan Images, Woodcuts, Club Baron, creating a tapestry of strength. Hurt, Harper, Kendall, Miller Perry. This cross-section of health equity, our guiding light. Meharry, Matthew Walker, Riverside. We continue to follow the path. Browns, Hemphill, Lawson, Gentry, history and racial healing, our foundation. Church and college basements, phone trees, organizers on the front and back lines, engaging poets, historians, and neighbors in the sacred task. Giovanni, John Work, Botoms, Kijis. We honor the earth beneath our feet. Pierce, Keble, Taylor, Bryant, each blade of grass a symbol of endurance. Hartman Park, Boyd, Gardner, each concrete block a platform for possibilities. This, TSU, American Baptist College.
Rooted together, we reclaim our narrative, sweats to Ritz, Citizens, Pearl High, Del Mar, and all the people, places, and projects known, unknown, named, and unnamed in North Nashville and Bordeaux. Our legacy blooms eternal. By Rashad Rayford and Stephanie Pruitt-Gaines.
Thank you. I love listening to that. I've listened to that, I don't know, a dozen times now, and every time I hear it, I catch something new in it. And I love sitting back and watching you all listen to it, because I see the head nods or the mm-hms and all of the silent affirmations. So with that, I'd love to hear any reflections of what you heard. Was there something that resonated with you, whether you know North Nashville by all of those names or not? I'd love for anybody to share how that reflects for them.
So for me, this actually, I've heard this acknowledgement before, and then I recently, we had a site visit with one of our funders, and so we went on a North Nashville tour with Soul Tour.
Okay.
Do you guys know the business is a black-owned business? We got Soul certified.
Okay.
But anyway, we're going around, going through all the landmarks, and so hearing it again, I was like, hey, I know a lot of these things that they mentioned because I actually saw the landmarks, I saw the places, heard the history behind it. And so I encourage everybody, if you don't know the history of North Nashville, maybe taking that tour. But it really helped me reconnect with this. And so, yeah, this is very impactful shit.
That's good. I love when we acknowledge the land, but also go and appreciate it in real time. So that's really what you're talking about. Anybody else, Miss George?
I remember entering Fort Greene School, which is no longer in existence. It was the first school for African Americans in North Nashville. Before that, we had to go to a school in West Nashville called Ashcraft. My mother felt that that school was not sufficient. So I went to live with my grandmother on 28th so I could attend the new school, Fort Greene. Went from Fort Greene to Washington Junior High, which is no longer in existence. Pearl Cone now takes up the land where both of these schools were. But both of those schools were very instrumental in producing a lot of the officials and what have you that we have right today.
Wow, talk about some more history. I mean, I love when this happens. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Reflections after you've heard the Legacy Blooms acknowledgement? That's okay. Okay, very good. I like for us to sit with it because I often tell groups that I work with, if you don't acknowledge the land, it will come back and get you. Believe it or not, right? I'll give you an example. Y'all remember during COVID, we were outside. You could go outside because you were quarantined. You could go outside and hear the birds. You could see the squirrels. They were happy, you know. They weren't running between cars. There's something about the land will protect and take care of itself if we get out of the way. Okay? And so that's what I believe about when we acknowledge it and we respect it and we honor it, because if we don't, then it is bound to rebound on us. Okay? All right, let me move us through the community agreements. When we were coming together as a group of stewards, we developed some agreements. My belief is when you come into relationship with each other, there's a contract that happens when you walk through the door. And so we have come up with some of those agreements. Maku, can you go one more for me? The thing about agreements is we can always change them. So I'm going to read these, and if you want to change or adapt or adopt something different, then we're going to do that. I'm going to go off mic. Are we good? Can y'all hear me? Okay. I'll come back if we need to. And if the group isn't able to hear on the virtual, I'm happy to do that. Okay, so we're going to prioritize people over the work. This is intended to be a safe space. If at any point that safety is compromised, bring it to the attention of the group. I'll go the next step and say, if you don't feel comfortable bringing it here, you can of course bring it to one of us that announced ourselves as consultants in the room, okay? Accept and expect leadership opportunities that are within your capacity. That means if you are here, we know that you have some capacity, so we're asking you to step forward within the capacity you have. Be respectful of the people and the process. Everyone has something to contribute. It is okay to ask questions and share ideas. And remain present. I'll give a caveat there that this is the middle of a workday. If you need to step out, take a call, take an email, that is fine. And then come back and be as present as you can be when you get here, okay? Are we all in agreement with this, or is there anything else we should add? We're good? Okay, perfect. This is how we will continue to accord ourselves in all the meetings that we have together. With that, let me invite Vicki to come up and just give us a brief history of how we got here, why you're here in the room, and then we'll talk in a moment about how we're going to move forward in just a second, okay? So let's start there. Vicki, come on up. Yes.
I'm going to move through the next few slides very quickly, which to ground you around the asset initiative, which was the initial Robert Wood Johnson Foundation funding to North Nashville and Bordeaux that kind of set the stage for where we are today. And so as part of that asset initiative, next slide, there was a board of advisory stewards. And ASSET stands for Accelerated. As Kia said, we have moved through this pretty rapidly, okay? Because I was tired of sitting at the table talking about North Nashville and Bordeaux. And we want to be accountable, okay? A strategic, which is what we pitched to Robert Wood Johnson Foundation that we were missing. Sustainable, we don't want to keep going back around the same issues over and over again. Equity centered, because now it is person centered. It's about us. And transformative, meaning we've got to upend the status quo, whether that is policy, whether that's systems or environment. And so the asset initiative, next slide, is a multi-sector group. We use two frameworks, equity centered community design, front and center over here. And we use the systems alignment for innovation hub that says community is got to be present. And so the neighborhood associations from 7 different neighborhood associations came to the table with the Vanderbilts, the Ascension, the Matthew Walkers, and all the others, Meharry, Metro Public Health, to say, let's talk about this. How can we change the dynamics around North Nashville? Next slide. So here's what, this is amazing. When I reflect back, North Nashville didn't need a Dr. Machero or Vicki Harris other than to get the money from Robert Wood Johnson Foundation to lay the platform. North Nashville already had the answers. They already had the answers. Katina Beard, our first meeting, said North Nashville has everything it needs. So this is some of the input that group, that board of advisory stewards gave last year. We got people, we got passion, resilience, creativity. Next slide. Another board of advisory steward member said, you know what? We need to work on a plan that stops the bleeding where we are now. And this perpetual cycle of health disparities and outcomes. And then we've got to focus on the future. And who's the future? Our children. Because otherwise they are destined to continue to live as we have lived. Next slide. So that group came up with a problem statement. You can read it here, essentially, impacted by racism that influences policy and structural harm for present and future generations. And this has caused intentional fragmentation of systems and organizations, which has caused restricted access to resources needed to address all these issues that we keep talking about and we keep getting reports on. And guess who's at risk? Most risk in Davidson County. North Nashville and Southeast Nashville. Those are the two that show up each time. The vision that this group came up with, build a resilient, and we know we can be resilient, but I think we can become Teflon resilient, empowered and self-sustaining North Nashville by addressing the structural inequities and fostering economic opportunity, improving health outcomes, and increasing community capacity. Next slide. So they came up with 5 strategic priorities to address this fragmentation and this harm that's historically been caused as we sit in 2025 with gentrification being fueled all around us. Just look up Trinity Lane, okay? Health conscious grocery stores, because you know what? We're in a food apartheid, not a food desert, a food apartheid. Deserts naturally occur. This is not a natural occurrence. This is the result of intentional policy systems and investments, youth empowerment and longitudinal job initiatives. And also, we don't want just a job, we want professions, okay? Jobs that lead to a profession. And then that group, the Board of Advisory Stewards, they want something permanent, where they are the go-to resource for the North Nashville-Bordeaux community. So we went through all of those, and they talked about what their desired outcomes, they wanted their desired outcomes to be. So you can see them, community resilience and leadership. So they want the community to be empowered and to remain empowered. Not to just be engaged with, but to be empowered. Economic stability and workforce empowerment, because guess what? If I get this, that can change some of those health outcomes. Okay? Sustainable housing and environmental stewardship. Well, my God. We're in a food apartheid. Lots of food pantries, some community gardens, but growing seasons in Tennessee are getting shorter thanks to climate change. Back to respecting the land. We've got to do this. We've got to think longitudinally. We can't just think about today. From the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, I was told, Vicki, you and your team have to think about your work as having an impact 7 generations from now, not just today. So we need to be thinking about Nashville-Bordeaux, the residents that were forced over here because of redlining. Okay, this was the land nobody wanted, close to the river, flooded all the time, didn't want it, okay? What are you gonna do? When's the next tornado? Because North Nashville seems to be almost like a magnet for tornadoes. When's the next 100-year flood with the Cumberland River running through Bordeaux? Improved health and wellness, and that's what we want. That's all we want. Next slide. So, the goal was, we looked at all those 5 priorities, and it was work through this process, 3 cycles something, and came up with, there was one we could work on that would touch at least 2 of those in the immediate future. And one of those was trying to address this fragmentation, okay, around services, basic needs services, and the other one was around workforce and youth. Because you know what, if I get a good paying job that leads to a profession, that not only changes my life, but that changes my children's lives and their trajectory. And so the intervention that the asset stewards came up with was we aim to build a connected system of one-stop shop, physical and virtual care hubs to support connecting residents to resources and align resources in the community. So back to what Katina Beer said, we have what we need. We just got to rethink how we utilize what we already have. And that's what this is about. Next slide. Okay. You want me to do co-design? Okay. What is co-design? Can you click on that? There should be a link. Now, a decade ago, I went to a co-design session sponsored at Lipscomb University where some MIT people came down. And we spent a Saturday on this. And I've been fascinated with it ever since.
And you want to learn more about co-design? Perfect. Let's start. Co-design is a design approach aimed at actively involving end users, customers, and other relevant stakeholders in the design process to ensure the outcome meets their needs. We're talking about co-creation applied to design with a focus on active collaboration between users and designers. A core concept of co-design is that users are experts of their own experience. Research and design are not done on behalf of the user, but with the user. A co-design process or workshop is usually based on 4 steps. Engage, understand, ideate, and validate. In the first step, we learn from each other and set the challenge. In the second step, we focus on user needs to gather key insights for each stakeholder. In the third step, we co-create design concepts and build prototypes. And finally, we check the validity and the co-created solution by testing and evaluating the resulting prototype with end users and other stakeholders.
Okay, so as you can see, there is alignment with what the Systems Alignment Innovation Hub at Robert Wood Johnson came up with as far as equity-centered community design. Because they said, first you've got to recognize your history and how you got here. And you got to engage people. You got to figure out what the grand challenge is. And then you got to kind of pull that apart and figure out, you know, what are the pathways forward. That's where we are. You've already been co-creating, actually. Those of you that completed the CBO profile, you were already co-creating. You were giving us insights into what it is you're doing, where your pain points are, what are the tools that you already have, because we don't really have the luxury of unnecessary duplication or inefficiency, do we? We don't. Particularly since January and the change in the funding coming from the federal government. We don't have that luxury anymore, okay? So next slide, you've already been co-creating. And so, next slide. Is this still me? Okay, Dr. Machera needs to come from class. Okay, so Momentum Hub 1.0, and I said 1.0. This is why. This is not a one and done process. The problems that we have, the challenges that we have are complex. They have been embedded in our community for decades. So to think that we can get around the table in 3 or 4 hours and, oh, we've got the perfect solution. Now, we've been down this path, okay? So my gray hair speaks to the fact that 10 years ago, this idea of connected community was all the rage of the technology companies. And so they sold to the hospital systems and the payers, the big payers like Blue Cross Blue Shield, they sold to them that technology was the solution. It was a silver bullet. Well, about 7 years later, they figured out that, oh no, technology is not the solution, because you're just laying technology over a fragmented system, and what do you get? Not what we sold you, okay? But that's okay. Okay, so they've all pivoted, and I've watched this pivot over the years. Next slide. So what is the Momentum Hub? It's not a physical place. Because we've got CBOs that already occupy a physical space in North Nashville, doing great work, great frontline work. We don't need another physical space. So what it is bringing technology into the North Nashville Bordeaux area to connect the existing organizations so that they essentially become like mini hubs. They become like mini one-stop shop hubs. So even though my mission may be food, but the person sitting in front of me did not end up food insecure in isolation. It likely is tied to either paying more for rent than they can truly afford, okay? That could be related to a job that's paying less than $20 an hour in Nashville, which we all know that don't work. The math doesn't work on that in Nashville anymore. So this gives me the ability to leverage technology with fellow organizations to connect the person sitting in front of me to those other resources. Without me handing her a sheet of paper and saying, here's a list of organizations you can go check on about rent subsidy, or here's a set of organizations you can go check on about medication subsidy to help you with your medication because that's costing you so much every month. What I can do is refer that person digitally to a fellow CBO without the person sitting in front of me having to be traumatized again, repeating their information as to how they got here. Okay? Now I'm gonna tell